However, that's in the upright position usually. Believe it or not, this is the upright orientation for Hanged Man. He's usually hanging upside down, and he's kind of on display for everyone to see. And he's on this rig that is usually put in the public square for people to look at and see, you know, this is how you don't want to be. It was, I think, it traditionally used for putting up criminals or saying, you know, for public humiliations. However, Hangman doesn't care. This is a card of great self-acceptance, great, you know, marching to the beat of your own drum, great originality, uniqueness. And actually in this position, in the Rider-Waite, he has a crown of an aura around his head showing enlightenment. He actually gets very comfortable in this position, and he doesn't really care what anyone else thinks. So he's different from everyone else. He sees things from a different point of view, and through that, he gets enlightenment. It has a lot of Aquarius overtones, so being eccentric, marching to the beat of your own drum, accepting yourself as you are, your own eccentricities, your own differences, your own uniqueness. That's what this card is all about. When it shows up in the reverse position like this, which it is here, it's saying that you might have challenges with that sort of thing, or that you're not seeing the value of your own uniqueness, your own differences. And that's also echoed here with Star in reverse, because Star is a great card of self-acceptance and finding your place in the world, and it's full of hope. So with Hangman in reverse, I'm going to encourage you, Sag, at the beginning of the month to identify what it is that makes you unique, makes you different, how you do things in a different way from everyone else, and start to appreciate that about yourself. Start to acknowledge that, because when Hangman's in reverse, it says you may be getting down on yourself for the way that you're different, or you may be looking at all the things that are about you that are different from everyone else, and kind of getting literally hung up on that. So see if that's your opportunity with this card in reverse, is you might be having a hard time seeing how your own individuality makes you special, and that it's okay to just do things your own way, and that you actually get a new perspective from doing that, and you get a certain amount of enlightenment from doing that. But in the reverse position says you might be having struggles with that. You might feel like an outsider. The low side of Hangman is feeling like you're humiliated in front of everyone. You're caring too much about what everyone else thinks. You are trying to keep up with the Joneses. It's all that conformity stuff. Normally, Hangman doesn't worry about conforming, but in the reverse position, boy, it's showing some insecurities about conforming, or, you know, caring too much about what other people think. So maybe try to let that go and recognize your own individual specialness, uniqueness, because that's the benefit. That's the high side of Hangman. Here also at the beginning of the month, I see 5 of coins. This card is a card about choice of focus. There's the high side and low side of this card as well. The general meaning of 5 of coins can mean financial loss. It can also mean too much preoccupation with the mundane physical world, possessions, assets. With these two together, actually, interestingly, there's almost like a keeping up with the Joneses feeling, like, oh gosh, I don't have the biggest boat in the neighborhood, or I don't have the biggest TV, or I don't, you know, I'm concerned about whether people think I have abundance, or if I'm rich, or if there's a little bit of preoccupation with that. The way out of it is to just, again, march to the beat of your own drum. And in this case, 5 of coins, the flip side of being too materialistic is having a spiritual focus, and that's present in this card too. We see that with this nun comforting this figure, there's warmth and radiating glowing light coming from the stained glass window, which is a church or a mosque or some religious building. And so in this card, you can either be the one who's comforted, you know, or being comforting with a spiritual focus. It's always abundant. It's always available to us 24/7, even in the cold of winter. Or you can identify with this beggar who's wounded, who's been through trials and tribulations and suffering, and is really just focused on the material existence of things. So Sag, the main message I'm getting from these first two cards for August is, during the beginning of the month, don't worry so much about what other people are thinking or other people's judgments or like keeping up with the Joneses. Don't be too preoccupied with outer status, with outer materialism. Your opportunity is to focus on the spiritual comforts and wealth that's always available to you. And it's also an opportunity for you to acknowledge and treasure your own contributions, your own uniqueness, your own differences that make you valuable. So that's definitely going on. And that's also echoed here in Star. Star is a card full of hope. It's a card also of self-acceptance. You can see in this card, she's naked. She doesn't have any outer trappings. So in many ways, Star is similar to Hangman in that she doesn't really care what anyone else thinks. She's not worried about what her status is. She finds her own place in the natural world. In other words, she accepts herself as just as valuable as the bird or the tree or the water or the stars. She intrinsically knows her own value. And through that, she exhibits her own radiance, her own self-worth and knowledge, and that's how she has this star quality. It's just that she shines just through her own worth and radiance. So with this in the reverse position, it's saying you may be having trouble accessing that. You may feel like, oh, I need the right clothes. Oh, I need the right status. Oh, what do people think of me? Where is my place in the universe? But with both of those in reverse, you have an opportunity to acknowledge those things or access those things. Both those cards are showing up as great cards of self-acceptance. But in the reverse position, there's some sort of doubt, fear that's blocking that, or there's some way in which that's in shadow right now. And there may be a air person, an air sign, that can help you with that. This is Queen of Swords. She cuts through to the truth. She holds up the sword of truth. Swords represent ideas, thoughts. It's the mental element. It represents air. So it could either be an air sign, which is Libra, Aquarius, or Gemini, or it could just be someone who embodies the archetype of Queen of Swords, who is someone who is direct, who's truthful. Sometimes Queen of Swords doesn't mince words. Like, she can be very cutting and just say, like, this is the way it is. This is the truth. Like, face it. So, and she's very clear on boundaries. So there may be an air sign or someone who is being very direct and forthright with you and honest at the beginning of August, Sag, that can help you through some of this, some of what's being presented in terms of self-worth, self-value, your own individual unique style, and your own self-acceptance. She can actually be of comfort because she's showing up next to Five of Coins. She may be reassuring in terms of financial loss. She may have some words of wisdom. That's what Queen of Swords is one of her strengths is, wisdom and clarity and truth and honesty. So she may actually echo this comforting person. If you're experiencing loss, especially financial loss, or questioning your status, the beginning of August, Sag, she can have some insight for you. At the middle of the month, Sag, it's actually, look at all this Cups energy, 3 Cups cards all in a row. You actually have some beautiful, Cups represent heart energy and the emotions. This is 10 of Cups, and this is the most amount of cups that can appear on the card. And you can see through the imagery, it just means like having your wishes fulfilled at the end of the rainbow. You know, it's a couple that's holding up a cup together. It's a shared heart. And then there's all this love in the background. The general meaning of this card is peace, joy, family unity. It's celebration. In the Rider-Waite deck, it's a couple that's celebrating, and in the background there's 2 kids that are celebrating, and there's this rainbow. So this is a lot of fulfillment, having your heart being full. So if you can get through any insecurities, any preoccupation with what the outer world thinks, what your status is, what your financial situation is, what, if you think you have to have that designer handbag or that fancy race car or whatever it is that you're focused on, that's five of coins energies, being too preoccupied with materialism. You actually, in the middle of the month, you have this beautiful heart energy, and you can really feel overjoyed, and especially in relation to family, love energy, heart energy. There is something here with Six of Cups in reverse where there may be a little loss of innocence in regards to a relationship. Six of Cups represents childlike wonder and innocence and sentimentality. It's a picture of two kids actually giving their hearts to each other, and it's full of these white lilies, which represent innocence in this case, and purity. So often when this card shows up, it's something to do with the past, someone who makes you feel like a child, someone who makes you feel innocent. It's the sweet heartness of, two kids. It's like two kids sharing a toy. It's got that feeling to it. When it's in the reverse position, it can mean like you're having a hard time accessing that part of the relationship, the sweet, innocent beginnings of the relationship, or it may mean that you've become a little bit cynical about something. Since this card is here, try to access the naivete, the purity, the sweetness, the kindness. This is actually a real card of kindness and sentimentality. Sometimes it's someone from your past, too, because this card does relate to your past. But in the reverse position, it may just be saying you're having a hard time. Everything may be looking rosy, but you're having a hard time remembering what it was to be like a kid, or accessing that sweet, innocent side of your heart. In this case, too, with these two cards together, I'm getting don't get stuck in a rut. Don't just feel like this is all it is. With Four of Cups, this is a card of, there's 3 cups in the foreground, and then the universe is trying to hand an additional cup to this person who's here on the side. And part of what Four of Cups is about is not being so preoccupied with what exists, but be open to receive even more love. You may have a certain amount. With these two, I'm just getting like, is this all there is? Be open, don't be cynical, and don't be like, this is all it's ever going to be, because the universe wants to give you more. There's another cup that's coming to you, but I call this sometimes my Rip Van Winkle card, because it's like someone who's letting weeds grow around their dreams. They're just kind of like staring at their navel and saying, okay, this is all there is, is there ever going to be anything more? When really the world is like waiting for you to just receive the thing, that the extra love, the extra heart energy, the extra emotion. But you have to look up to see it and put yourself in a place to receive it. So when this card comes up, there's a lot more love available to you if you can access if you can think back to how a relationship was at the beginning, or think back to how your heart was when you were a child, and see if you can receive more that's trying to be handed to you. Don't be too rigid, like Emperor. This is someone who's a very staunch figure. He's the most masculine card in the deck, and he's usually the head of an army, and he's usually really concerned with rules, regulations, authority, the way things should go, his empire. So this could either be you in the situation, Sag, or being preoccupied with rules. This, you'll see that he's looking completely away from all this heart energy. So don't separate yourself off saying, this is the way it should be. It should go according to these rules. I can't believe you're not following my rules. My word is the law. This could be you, Sag, saying that, or someone who's exiting a relationship. Or it could also be like an older figure, an elder, say a father figure, or an uncle, or a boss, anyone who is not participating in this heart energy. He's really rigid, and he's really bound up with rules, regulation, and order. This is what I say. I'm the head of the castle. I can't, he's cutting himself off from all this heart energy. So Sag, you have the opportunity to participate in all of this in the middle of the month, or if you want to, drive your fist into the sand and like just hold on to this one sword and say, this is the idea, this is the way it goes. That's possible too. But I mean, I'm almost seeing like family reunion here, and then this is that old crotchety uncle who's just like, I can't believe these kids, they're just laughing and being too silly. They need to get serious, when really he's just cutting himself off from all this heart energy. So take that as you will, Sag, and see where you want to land with all that, because there's a lot of love available to you mid-month. Towards the end of the month, we have Page of Wands in reverse, Chariot, Empress in reverse, and then Nine of Swords. The first thing that I'm responding to here is I'm seeing, if you can see this, Empress and Emperor are a natural couple, and they're both in reverse. Normally, Emperor and Empress rule a kingdom together. She's the most feminine card in the deck. He's the most masculine card in the deck. And together, they're extremely powerful. They're both major arcana cards. And they're number 3 and 4 of the major arcana. The only cards that are ahead of them are Fool, Magician, and High Priestess. Sort of primordial power cards. These are the first that actually exist in the world and society. She's all about abundance, prosperity, growth, fertility. Everything grows around Empress. And Emperor is all about structure, order, law, authority, ruling, hierarchy. He's the head of power and rules and regulation. The fact that these two are so near one another and that they are both in reverse around this Nine of Swords card, I'm somehow getting ego battle within a relationship. So if you are noticing that you are embodying either one of those, Sag, this is Nine of Swords, and this is overthinking. So the way out of this, the reason that's overthinking is swords represent thoughts and mentality, just like we saw with Queen of Swords. But in this case, someone, and it could be both of these people, are making mountains out of molehills. There's actually maybe there's 3 problems going on, but they're making 9 out of it. It's like overthinking, worrying, being tied up. There's all this tension and anxiety. And really it has to do with too much in your head. So the way out of this card for either Empress or Emperor is to get out of your head. Maybe just go do anything other than air stuff in your head. Go be active, do fire stuff, which is like be creative, or go get grounded, go meditate or something like that, or be involved in your emotions, cry it out, or talk about your emotions. What this is just saying is that if you spend time in your head too much, you can go in circles in your head, and you're really not going to be interacting with either one of each other. It's just going to cause more tension. I'm just really getting ego battle, power struggles. This one's thinking, this one's overthinking. They're not talking, not communicating. So if you find yourself in either of those characters, don't overthink it. Communicate, get out of your mind. Either talk with them, go into emotion, whether it's writing about your emotions, expressing them, communicating, being active, going on a walk, or going and exercising, or just getting grounded, spending time with someone who's really grounded, spend time with an earth sign or something. So Sag, that's, you might even just be witnessing this. This may not even be you. You might just be witnessing an epic tension between these two powerful characters. But one other thing that's going on is there's a lot of victory associated with decision making right now. I'm seeing it's next to Empress, but she's in reverse, so she may not be the best person to go to. I would say if you can, separate yourself from whatever's going on here, whether it's you or someone else. But this card is about victory through relying on your intuition and making decisions that not only are logical, but also are in accordance with your gut feelings. This is the reason that Chariot is successful and crosses that finish line is because he trusts his gut feelings, he trusts his intuition, and he knows when to rely on his intellect, his left side brain, his logic, his analytic side, and when to go with his gut, when to go with that irrational, wild, passionate side that just says go. So this is a card of hard control and victory, but it's all based upon intuition and trusting your gut, knowing that you can, keeping your eye on the prize is really what this card is about. And even if you're not motivated or not enthusiastic, this is a card of young enthusiasm. This is Page of Wands. And this could be you, Sag, because this is a fire sign. And this may be like you being your teenage self, because in reverse, Page of Wands is like, I'm stamping my foot down. I don't want to do it. I don't want to go. Like I'm sort of seeing like a rebellious teenager, like when they have to go somewhere and they're like, I really don't want to. I just want to hang out with my friends. I'm not going to do that. So because in the upright position, it's all about willingness. It's about optimism. So here it's about pessimism and unwillingness. So in some ways, Sag, this could be you. This could be the young side of yourself, being petulant, being frustrated, being unwilling, or just not seeing. I'm just seeing pessimism with this one. But keep your eye on the prize, because this card means victory through trusting your gut and through just navigating, going with the flow and navigating. He's not really the most flexible card. I don't think actually going with the flow is the best phrase for this card, but he goes with the flow in terms of he adjusts and adapts to whatever circumstances there are, and he sees the best path. So even if there's a rocky terrain, he will surmount it. He overcomes obstacles through his sheer determination, and he goes with his gut.